Welcome to the From Wounds to Wisdom podcast with your host, Barbie Moreno, where we dive into people's past and discover what wounds they incurred and how they transformed those wounds into wisdom to help themselves and others. Welcome to the From Wounds to Wisdom podcast. I am your host, Barbie Moreno. My guest today is Sheila Andres. She's a trusted advisor, progress expert, speaker, and author with years of hands-on experience helping build a business from the ground up. She knows firsthand the challenges entrepreneurs face. And now, as the owner of Realize Your Vision and the founder of Stuck Sucks movement, she's on a mission to help small business owners turn their vision into reality. Sheila believes there's power in small, and she's here to share her wisdom with us today. Welcome, Miss Sheila.
Yay, I'm so excited to be here, Barbie.
Thank you. Thank you. I love all of the work that you're currently doing. I think that you're amazing from all the conversations that we've had. And I want to get into how you got there, and then we can talk about what you're doing, because we know that this is From Wounds to Wisdom. So we all have a story, and we would just absolutely love to hear yours. So can you share with us your journey?
Thank you. Yeah, when you showed up and said this is your podcast, like I said, there was this fire in my heart that was almost like a hell yeah, you have to do it. I knew it's going to be a deeper dive, but I think it's important to have these kinds of conversations and sharing with the world because we all, I believe, have a purpose. We're all meant to do great things. And when we respond to that deeper calling, because maybe we're not completely aligned for what we're supposed to do, it gets really scary. Um, and I think that's where I found myself at. Very briefly, right out of college, I decided to work for a small business owner rather than a big, corporation ready to hire me. I gave them 20 years of my life, but I probably should have left a lot sooner. And long story short, it allowed me to experience all kinds of things that was necessary and important to create a business from startup to the point of success, however you define that. In this case, it was moving from a footprint in California to nationwide open offices internationally. But what I would have to say is in the beginning, I was really passionate. It was exciting. I felt valuable. Um, I felt like there was a determination. And when I would put in and contribute to achieving the goals, I felt appreciated. Um, and it fueled my aspirations. But somewhere along the line, I don't know, I think um, determination, aspiration somehow turned into expectation and demand. Things got really hard. Um, and I think because with time is short, I'm just going to hit it. I woke up one day feeling like I am not loving what I'm doing. I felt completely lost. And I think deep down inside on a deeper level, um, I didn't know who I was, and um, I lost my joy. I just felt like there's got to be something more in life. Where was the Sheila that was so excited about life? Where did she go to? And how did I lose myself in that? And without knowing, I couldn't explain it. Well, I know now I wasn't happy with who I was, with myself.
Like personally, who you were, like in your personal.
Yes, yes. There's moments when the day was great and I'm sitting there and I just didn't feel good about anything. But I realized I wasn't feeling good about who I was and who I was being. So bottom line, it just got to a point where I'm like, I can't continue my life this way. I want to be happy. I want to be joyful. I'm married. I have two daughters. I don't feel like I'm present with them. And more importantly, I want to understand more deeply what it is that I lost.
Yeah.
What is it that's really getting in the way of my joy? Why am I not happy? And I knew it might have been something with me, but I was in uncharted territory. So I left the company and started down this pathway. I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur, but the signs were there my whole entire career and life. People would show up and say, Sheila, why don't you start your own business? You're so good at this. I'm thinking if I would have if that was meant for me, I would have done it already. I'm better as a trusted right hand.
Mm.
But there's so much truth in that. So there's a part of me that I realize and recognize that I'm good at. And that's where, when I branched off, I wanted to know what were those things so I can embrace it
Mhm.
and really lean into that value, that sense of worthiness, and share that because it brought me joy. But I also want to know what were the other poo-poo stuff, the stuff that maybe was pleasant and I had no idea what I was stepping into because unfortunately in the 2 decades I, invested my life in this company, there was no reinvestment in me, in my own personal self-development. And that was a space where when I decided to start my own business, it opened up the path where I had to learn more about who I was,
Mhm.
hard truths, the good stuff and all the bad.
Yep.
And I think that's the place that really, really moves the needle for everyone, especially in the place of business, because it's about showing up. I think that if you were called to be an entrepreneur, you need to embrace everything about you with confidence, the good and the bad,
Yeah.
so you could show up without hesitation.
Yeah.
And
So,
there's something about aligning with your truth that brings out authenticity. That's really what I wanted to say.
and also, like when you started 20 years ago, you were a different person,
Oh, yeah.
right? Or more than 20 years, but the 20 years that you started, like when you
Yeah.
started, you were a different person. So maybe it fulfilled that part of you back then. But like you said, we have to learn to leave when it's no longer fulfilling us. But that's hard, right?
It is. And you know what's hard about it is because we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what we don't know. I tell so many people that, like, I'm like, can I trademark that? You don't know what you don't know. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
But there's this strong feeling that I think if you really lean into your own gut, intuition, senses, it can't lead you.
Yeah.
It can't lead you the wrong way if you're being honest with yourself. And that's where I found myself stepping into a place of complete honesty
Mhm.
about what is it that you want, Sheila? What is it that's not making you happy?
Yeah.
And what might be getting in the way of your joy and success?
Well, and leaning into that, I think that like from what I've experienced with talking with people is they want to do things, but there's some part of them that doesn't feel either worthy or that they don't feel like they're enough, or somebody told them that they would never succeed. And so they rely on these stories about themselves to keep themselves small. So, what have you experienced with that? What do you teach people when that's the story they're telling themselves?
I was just like, stop talking about me, Barbie.
Right, I'm talking about me too, don't worry.
But that's exactly the crazy thing about it. Like you're so unique, Barbie. There's no one else like you in the whole wide world. There's no one like me. There's no one like anyone else. But the thing here is what holds us, I think, in similar or connected in some way is that our journey opens up to address everything that you just said.
Yeah,
There is something in our life and the beliefs, the experiences we went through that have dimmed our light and we didn't know it,
right.
that have made us small, second guess us. There's voices in our head that I didn't even realize how abusive and nasty my negative Nelly was
Yes.
until I took a moment to really sit there and say, if I want something different, then I need to start opening my eyes and ears to the things that I'm not seeing or hearing. And, right there, that sense of unworthiness, you go down your path, who knows how it's going to open up for you. So that's what's beautiful about it. It's like your journey is so unique to you.
But it's also scary.
Oh, it's so scary.
Yeah.
But when we desire for it and we find that courage to just show up, um, get into a space where maybe truths will be made known. The learning becomes, the growth.
Hmm.
That's the part scary, but you don't even know what you don't know. So you stepped into it, you may not even realize it, but when it hits you, that's where it's hard. And one of the things I wanted to say was that feeling of unworthiness. I worked predominantly in an industry of men.
Hmm.
This whole journey allowed me to see, oh my God, my ego, I didn't even meet her until um, Oh my, so I'm going to get really real here. After I turned 50,
Yeah.
you know, and the sense of unworthiness, even when I was smaller, I remember when I started to listen, I would remember my mom saying, like when people would compliment you,
Hmm.
oh, you look nice today, or you did well. I had a hard time receiving the thank you or affirmation with just grace to say, thank you in return. You
Yeah.
know, like, oh, you look nice today. Thank you so much. Or you did really well. Thank you. I would somehow try to dismiss it
Yep.
or be like, no, it's not a big thing or anything like that. I couldn't receive and I didn't understand what that was all about. Um, and really hard truth too is, you know, ego, it's the need to control, look good, and be right.
Right.
Well, it took me years to even know what that looked like, what that felt like, how it showed up for the aha moment to hit. And so, if we stay steadfast and committed to saying, I know there's got to be more. I want to be free. I want to feel good about myself. I know I have value and I want to fully embrace it and I want to share it with the world. Well, these are the things that kind of end up holding us back. But if we stay committed to go, I want to overcome that, you'll see that there's little things in life. I always say, I think you get what you need
Mhm.
when you need it. Some will be a bigger aha, and in some cases, it might be little things that starts to open up your perspective on things,
Right.
so that when the next teaching or lesson comes, you've been positioned to be able to receive it and learn even more. So I feel like my journey has been these little moments, either a conversation, coming into a workshop or whatnot, that just little by little started to, people say, peel back the onions, or in my case, pull off the blinders little by little,
Right.
until one day it made sense between connecting what I heard in my head to how I felt in my heart to the experiences and memories I remember, to recognizing this truth of, unworthiness and what does that really mean. And
Right.
then when it all came together, it's like your mind is completely blown and your heart wants to just explode.
And it's a journey. I think that a lot of people want things immediately. In my course, From Wounds to Wisdom, I teach people that it takes a long time to retrain yourself. But once you do, then those habits become normal. It was like it sounds silly, but I was earlier looking at my dishwasher and I was like, I'm so grateful I have a dishwasher. Like, and that just sounds dumb, but like just to be grateful for that is a trained habit to look for things to be grateful for. And it's the same thing with what you're talking about. These are trained habits. This is not something that you just wake up the next day and go, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to do XYZ. You have to train yourself these ways.
It's so true. And, I'm going to do a really transparent confession.
Yeah.
I'm a coach, and it's like one of those things where you're trying to share your gifts with the world, where people say, well, you need to, put that gift in something that people can download. And I thought, well, everyone's doing that. I don't want to do it. But I realized that it's so important to be able to share even these few little nuggets for those where it resonates, because I want to touch and help people look at their journey, not just in business, because if you're an entrepreneur, you're not fitting life into business.
Right.
Business is part of your life.
Right.
So when you're looking at it, how can you navigate the journey of life? Because it's a constant roller coaster. It's up and down. When you think you have everything figured out, something else throws a curveball. And I think that that's what makes it, quote, hard.
Hmm.
We want to kick the negative words in there. But if you're also wanting to really change, and so I brand as a trusted advisor and a progress expert, but I'm business coach and consultant. But the progress expert lands because it's saying, if you are open to be honest and to really receive, that can accelerate your progress in the evolution and transformation of who you need to become to achieve the success you desire. And learn and understanding what you got into almost positions you to not look at just the outer shell of this journey moving forward to success. It's really saying you got to know that changes involve. What does it mean?
Right.
Um, and to be able to reflect on that to help navigate the resistance, you
Mm.
know?
Mhm.
Because like you said, it's scary, it's hard. We don't know what we're getting into.
Right.
And sometimes you can only move with that desire. I just want to be better. I want to feel better. I
Mhm.
want to find joy. I want to be determined. Like, what does that really look and feel like? And you need all those things to really face the hard truths and to overcome and to move forward to that place of that authentic self, alignment with who you truly are, so that you could just show up fully.
Was there a specific either time, like a turning point in your life where you're like, this is, I can't do the other one anymore? And then what was that? Or if you don't want to talk about that, was there like a specific teacher that you gravitated towards that helped you come to this realization?
I think that it first started the calling, that desire for something different in my life, I would say would be the catalyst.
Mhm.
And when I look back, with the decisions I kind of made, whether they were good or not, like, I mean, I've invested in programs and they didn't really reap what I had hoped to get out of it.
Right.
But the truth was, in stepping into that, there were lessons learned
Mhm.
about what not to do and things about myself that I didn't expect going through it. So when I look back, I can't really, regret or pinpoint a person, but I feel like because I was so determined to really feel good about myself,
Yeah.
to love what I'm doing, to love on people. I mean, that was the first hardest question I had to ask. What do you want, Sheila?
Mhm.
And the word love.
Amen.
And I thought, what does that have to do with business? But it's everything.
Mhm.
I want to love what I'm doing. I want to love on people. I want to, pour out these gifts in love.
Yep.
And I just find when you come from that place, it moves mountains. And I feel like one defining point, there were so many because there's a lot of blocks and things that get in our way.
Right.
The one thing though, that sense of worthiness, it's huge. Um, I don't know. I think we do overcome, but as we start to grow and evolve and become more empowered,
Yep.
we become stronger, but we're dealing with a whole nother level of a sense of unworthiness and how to face it and overcome that. But the biggest thing for me was going, well, if I'm going to go out and share my gifts with the world, what value do I really have, And when I look back, I've done so many things that I didn't allow myself to receive and acknowledge.
Right.
And they were so important. I mean, I had my own coach tell me, Sheila, you're like every CEO's dream if
Mm.
they could have you there by their side. Because it's the truth is, like, if they're everywhere and creative, I can help them get grounded and focused so that they can get traction.
Right.
If they have all these ideas and know what to do, but they're not moving on it, I can ignite passion. I could do sales and marketing, but I could also do more operational things. So as a business owner, they deal with everything. They're also unique in who they are. So I can complement them very well, but I couldn't receive that. And so I had to dive deep to go, what in the world was that about? And there was one, I can't remember when it was, but they were saying, think about a thought that you had when you're addressing this thing. It may not have been unworthiness, but what surprised me was, don't ignore what comes to your head, because
Mhm.
even if it doesn't look related, it probably is. And the image that it kept coming back to was when I was a really little girl. I feel like I was about 6. And my parents, they were first generation to come and establish themselves in the US. Well, they needed help. It was just my mom and dad, and they needed help. So there was me, I have a younger sister, and they decided to send us back to the Philippines for 1 year so that they can get settled
Right.
and then have us back. And I remember so vividly, I was so young, but I could not vocalize what I'm about to share, but I can still hear it till this day. And what was running in my head was, you know, why do you have to send me away?
Mm.
Don't you love me?
Mm.
Am I not important enough? Why can't I be important enough? Why can't you love me enough to stay? And you're 6. How do you say these things? You probably throw a tantrum or do that. But I remember staying silent because I didn't know how to process the thoughts and the feelings that I had, let alone voice it. The other thing that came to me was saying, no, you're a good girl, Sheila, and good girls need to obey. They need to listen to their parents. So if they know best and they need to send us away, then trust that. But I felt like I wasn't important enough. I
Right.
wasn't in loved enough and therefore could easily be sent away. Well, I had no idea I had held on to that for so long. And bottom line is when that that truth surfaced, I started to see how it kind of permeated and really spread through other areas and aspects of my life. And so it was coming to that place where how can I heal that so that it can change, the way I think, how I feel, what I do in all these other areas. And I already knew that there's a sense of freedom from that,
Mm.
to feel that sense of worthiness and to let go of that negative and a belief in that lie,
Yeah.
you know, but to accept it that it is a lie, it took me like 2 minutes to be like, so these are the stories you're talking about? Like people are like, what are the stories you're telling yourself? I'm like,
Right.
once upon a time, I don't know. It took a process and enough exposure to the place of personal development and transformation to even understand that language, to even connect with it, and then connect it to, oh, that's what the story means, you
Yeah.
know?
And that's how it's been showing up in my life all this time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What are your tools? Do you have daily rituals, practices? Like, how do you keep yourself in a positive space?
Um, you know, it's crazy because every time I got to a quiet place when things got so hard, even at work, they kept throwing me things. At the corporate job I was in, they kept throwing me things that I had never done before. Actually, the company never done before. And I want to preface that by saying that at an early age in my career, the owner gave me part of the company. And I took that to mean that I have a responsibility
Mm.
to ensure that this company succeeds. So when there were problems, that belief of that ownership, I didn't own most, majority of the company, but that portion of it felt I was grateful for it,
Right.
but I turned it into this like tyrant kind of thing and didn't realize it. Saying like, well, I am part of the company. Like it's part of my responsibility to help save it or put the building that's on fire and put it out.
Right.
So nurturing this, savior syndrome, putting it all on myself and realizing, no, it's not my responsibility. I can only contribute, So when things got so hard, I realized when I got to a place of pretty much despair,
Yeah.
but I couldn't, everything that I could do wasn't working. I was just at a place where I was hitting the wall. So it really were moments of despair because I didn't know anything else to do. And I'm only working within my own experience, within my own limits of knowledge in this space I'm dealing with. I've never done before. It requires new experiences and knowledge. So when I would get quiet and face that feelings of despair, I found, I don't know, clarity. I found answers. I found next steps. So I feel like I never actually acknowledged that. It was almost like this innate subconscious thing that I would do everything every time things got really hard, and it always worked for me. But it was, I didn't know what I didn't know,
Right.
you know? But now that I was on a path to really become more mindful and aware, I realized the value of it and what is it. So I want to touch on that because what I would tell people is this. We live in a world where it's just getting faster
Yep.
by the minute.
Yep.
Before I'm running 100 miles an hour. Now it's 500 miles an hour. Now I feel like it's 1,000 miles an hour.
Mhm.
And we feel like we have to get into the speed of moving because this is the world requires. But what happens here is if we keep nurturing that, if we keep reinforcing that kind of behavior, don't be surprised that after some time of constantly doing this in years past, you suddenly don't know how to stop.
Right.
And I want to help people in that space to support you to learn how to stop so you could speed up, slow down so you could speed up.
Right.
It goes against the grain of the world, but I'm telling you, there is such beauty, peace, joy, progress that can be gained when you can get comfortable with, even if there's a time pressure, like I don't have time to even stop. Can you get to a place where you're like, I'm so valuable and I know that I can serve myself and others more if I could just stop for just a moment,
Right.
clear the mind and allow the things to come into the space for just, can I just calm down, get quiet so I can think clearly?
So do you practice that daily, or is this something that you do as it needs, as it comes up?
I feel like I'm doing it all the time.
Yeah.
But absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of it because I want to also share the fact that, I can come in and share tools or advice. But the truth is, like Barbie, you're Barbie. I could never be Barbie.
Hmm.
I'm Sheila. You can never be Sheila. And even my motto when it came to me, like, what would be your tagline? What's your brand promise if people work with you? And I'm like, succeed your way.
Yeah.
So I want to share what you're going through and what you're dealing with and open up that perspective so that it can create pull out some of the blinders so you could see things more clearly. And then I want to help you in that clarity to make a decision for yourself. What does it look like to stop and slow down for a minute? And it's like really embracing and supporting them from a love of true love and support for them to figure that out on their own. Because telling somebody what to do, it might help, but we can't control anything, right? We can only contribute. So if we make suggestions and whatnot, what really moves the needle is if they stay open,
Mm.
receive it, and really do the work to go, oh my God, I know what that looks like, but I don't want to do it. And this is why.
Yeah.
So it makes them go deeper and starts them to think about what is forcing certain behaviors the way they think and what they feel to do it. But when they slowly start to do that, they chip away at the things that might have imprisoned them,
Right.
you know. And really, it no matter how you slice it, there's some form of freedom that you find each time you outgrow or break free from everything that has kept you small.
Yeah. I love that. It sounds like our work is very aligned with each other. And so your main audience or the people that you work with most are entrepreneurs, yes?
Yeah, and I think it just created that way because when I look back, there was a reason why I worked for the small business owner rather than the big company.
Yeah.
And as much as I've done everything from operations, customer service, sales, and marketing, I think my biggest thing was being that trusted advisor to the business owner who was a visionary, and that's a leadership role.
Yeah.
And so understanding the things that come in there, it was supporting them to make decisions, to feel good about what those next steps are, to be part of a team, and recognizing that in order to achieve a goal, it's more than just one man or one woman. It really involves the talent and expertise of so many different people. And that's why, so I'm taking that experience to really bring it into a place where I could use all that as value
Right.
in the place of business. And believe me, we all start out wanting to start a business and we're by ourselves. We don't even know that we're being a lone wolf. And that is probably one of the like the biggest poison you can have to your success. So, but before they can even recognize that, they have to be willing to face some truth. Like, I could do this on my own. The truth is, you can't.
Everybody needs some help. Yep.
Yeah. And then it's like, what can you do? And where are the parts that you're really struggling with?
Right.
But it's not even just knowing that, it's now understanding, oh my God, this is the process.
Hmm.
This is me growing and evolving. I've got to learn and be willing to invest in myself
Hmm. Yeah.
and to receive the knowledge and the things that other people are good at so that I can grow and then let that overflow to other people that I pull into my business to help meet the vision.
I have found though that for that to happen, you have to truly believe in yourself And that's one of the hardest things for people because that's why small businesses fail. People start them with the idea that I could do this better or I could do XYZ, blah, blah, blah. But you have to invest in yourself and you have to be willing to invest in yourself in times when you may not have the money to invest in yourself. And then you have to say, I'm still worthy of investing in myself and moving forward. And that is a hard, hard road if you haven't done the inner work.
It's so true. And here's the thing. So I'm going to say this. People might throw, I don't know, vegetables at me, their salad. It doesn't matter. But here's the truth. Somebody told me one time, Sheila, nobody pays for clarity.
Hmm.
Nobody pays for confidence, you know. But I'm sitting here and going, and you just said it, nobody pays for encouragement or belief.
Right.
But the truth is, yeah, we all need someone to believe in ourselves. And I used to hide from that because I thought there's no, that's not a six figure. I can't quantify that. But the truth is, all these things are priceless.
Yeah.
Did you know my whole life, Barbie, and other people, I would phrase it this way. They're like, Sheila, you have so much energy. Do you know why people want to work with you? Because I want to be in that energy. And
Mm,
I thought, I never saw that as valuable.
hmm.
And and I'm about to say this because I'm standing in my worth and my truth,
Right.
not from a place of arrogance, but from a place of worthiness.
Yep.
I've got amazing energy.
Mm.
I'm equivalent to 10 people. I think I'm the best cheer squad ever.
Yes.
So when you need it, I'll give you that loving booty spank. You know what I mean? And almost also share, like, to believe in you,
Right.
but not just to be like, you got this. It's almost in order for you to understand how much I believe in you, I reflect back to you your truth about who you are and where you're at this moment.
Right.
And all the stuff you may have come into the call with sitting in a bed of poo poo and you're like, feel like the world is on your shoulders and there's no hope. But when we're done, you're like, I can't do this. But when we're done, you start to see not only and we're reminded of your amazing strength and gifts, but also seeing the good and all the crap that you might be sitting in
Hmm.
and how in that moment these things are serving you. So I talk in more generality
Right.
because I'm very customized, high touch, and specific to you.
Right.
So this is really where the value and the power comes because I sit there and I'm really intentional about being present, about seeing you, about hearing you, about getting to know you. And when all the stuff that you share, I process all of it and then I reflect back vocally so that you can then receive and like mirror back, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why. But when we look at our own mirrors, it's all blurry.
Right.
We even squirt it with our own Windex, scrub it down, and there's still streaks. We don't see ourselves clearly.
Right.
But when you're in a place where you feel like I can trust them,
Hmm.
I feel safe,
Right.
I respect her, she won't lie to me. And I'm sharing now and reflecting back a very clear reflection of you and what's happening. It changes everything. And that's what I can't quantify. But the bottom line is this: if you sat there for months or years, like spinning and not moving and being able to overcome what's getting in your way, but one conversation suddenly inspires you and you start taking action and doing things you've never done before, how much is that worth to you?
Right.
I could never quantify how much time you just saved. Or maybe you could go back there. I could have saved 2 years. That's one thing. But now, as you start to move forward, how can you sit there and be very mindful that I'm investing in myself? My time is valuable. I'm stuck and I don't want to waste it stuck.
Right.
I want to, I want somebody that I can trust to sit there and give it to me straight so I can keep moving. Because the more that you progress and the sooner, the more impact that you make, the happier you are. That doesn't mean it's not going to be easy,
Right. Right. Right.
you know.
Nothing that is worth it is ever without its own ups and downs, right? We go through that in general. How does one, because we do have to wrap up, how does one get in contact with you should they feel like you might be advantageous to their journey?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can go down to my website, realize-yourvision.com. That's REALIZE-YOURVISION ION.com. Um, there is a place there where you could schedule some time with me, and I don't want to sound cavalier or faux pas, but you're going to step into my playground and we're going to have
Good.
fun with your journey. The other thing here is I did recently create this little tip guide. It's very simple, it's just three things. But if you looked at it from its, outer shell or icing, you probably won't get as much out of it. But if you sat there and really looked at those three things, it's going to force you to reflect deeper,
Love that.
to understand this journey that you're on, and when you think about it and reflect back, it's really going to force you to commit. It's going to force you to understand what change means and stuff like that. So if it's something of value to you, then it's yours, and it's at realizeyourvision.com/roller coaster.
Love all of your things for sure.
Oh, thank you.
What is
Thank
it?
you.
Stuck sucks, those kinds of thoughts because they're real and they're true. So I'm sure anybody who works with you, like you said, you're probably a beautiful mirror for them. And we appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your vision, your expertise, and your journey. Thank you so much.